State announcing that it has lifted the 2-month-old statewide curfew. Governor Wike, in a statewide broadcast yesterday, said the curfew was lifted due to improved security in the state and in neighboring states. He also said that the state government acknowledges the negative impact of the curfew on businesses and economic well-being of residents. Let's listen to the governor. Okay.
And as we have severally stated, the curfew is not going to last a day beyond necessary. Consequently, subsequent to the measurable improvements in the security situation in the state, as well as in our neighboring states, we have decided to lift the existing curfew on the entire state from tomorrow, 7th July 2021. While we thank you for your understanding and cooperation during this trying period, we must all remain security conscious and report any suspicious situation to the security agencies for action.
Now, Governor Wike also assured that Rivers State government will continue to deploy resources to ensure the protection of lives and property in the state.
On our part, we will not fail to deploy every resource at our disposal to ensure the safety of lives and property while advancing the well-being of all residents. This is the very reason we are clearing the state of shanties that have become veritable sanctuaries for criminals and criminal activities across the state. Clearly, our actions in this direction are not directed or targeted at any particular person, identity, or group.
So there you have it. The governor truly believes that security has been improved. Recall that Governor Wike on April 28 imposed a statewide curfew following the killings of some security personnel in Ikwere, Obiakpo, and Abua Odua local government areas by gunmen. So for 2 months, there was a curfew. And at this point, it is believed security has been improved. Now my question, it's up on Facebook, so I'm hoping you've dropped your comment there, which I'll be taking shortly. Did the curfew improve security in your area in River State? We're going to go through our curfew experiences, but again, this is a post-mortem of that curfew. The thrills and spills of those 2 months. Was life difficult or easy? Now let's go to the very beginning, where all of this started. It started in April. The River State announced that a night curfew will be enforced on all land borders from April 28 between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Governor Wike in a statewide broadcast said the curfew became necessary following the killing of some security operatives in Ikwere and Abua Odua local government areas by gunmen. All right, let you and I take a ride through those streets.
In view of what is going on, therefore, and its implications, the government of Rivers State has decided to restrict night movements into and out of the state from the land borders of the state. Consequently, a night curfew is hereby imposed and no person or vehicle is allowed into and out of Rivers State from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. from tomorrow, 28 April 2021, until further notice. We wish to advise that those who have any legitimate need or reason to come into or go out of the state must do so before 8 p.m. when the curfew shall come into force daily.
So this is where the drama started. For the purpose of security, it's important we have a curfew. Now, Governor Wike also directed security agencies to monitor and ensure compliance.
Security agencies have been posted to monitor and enforce strict compliance with the curfew at all our land borders and our entry and exit points with Abia, Kwaibo, Bayelsa, and Imo States. We call all citizens to understand that these are strange times and nothing can be more paramount than our collective safety and security. We therefore urge everyone to be vigilant and report every useful intelligence or suspicious movements to the security agencies for immediate actions. Nobody yet knows where and when the next attack will take place. Neither do we also know the range, characters, or group behind this senseless assault. However, what is obvious is that the attackers and their sponsors are people who came from outside River State, and as a government, we are determined to do everything within our powers to prevent the recurrence of such senseless and murderous acts aimed at creating an atmosphere of gross insecurity and panic among the citizens.
All right. So while you and I may have complained about the curfew, and I say may because, well, people had different opinions, politically, everyone was on the same page. The policy, the curfew, was so mainstream that even the opposition agreed with it. Now, the APC spokesperson in Rivers State, Ogbonnawuke, backed the move by the Rivers State government, saying it will reduce the attacks on security personnel.
In the last 1 week, our state has been under attack by unknown persons. We think that the decision to impose a curfew around the state's land border communities may be part of a security arrangement agreed upon by security agencies. We believe that no price is too big to pay when it comes to the protection of lives and property. As a responsible party, the APC agrees with the move to impose such a curfew. We urge the Rivers people to do whatever is possible to frustrate any attempt by unknown persons to disturb the peace.
So you know something is good when even your opposition says, even I would have done the same thing. So APC, PDP, same page. I wouldn't say for once, but it doesn't always happen. Because by design, the word opposition means somebody's on the other side saying something different. But for the purpose of security, that tells you what's important. The APC said, yeah, I think this is good. But how did this curfew affect you and I? It's what I will call the 4-point agenda. There's business, there's traffic, there's marriage, and then there's security. So let's start with the very first. Business. Naturally, the first people this would affect would be the drivers, because it was a restriction on human and vehicular movement. The vehicular part, drivers did not find funny. So interstate drivers in Port Harcourt said the curfew was affecting their business. Some drivers around waterlines spoke to our correspondent.
It is not enough coming and say all hands should be on deck. They should have find out the root cause of this thing. If not, more casualties we have.
Border closer can never solve the problem, because when they block roads, sometimes those people will wear uniform or whatever you think say it's a police or soldier. Then when you come there, they will attack you. They're supposed to be patrolling gradually. You just push that in police to be making money. I bring 100 naira, I believe another motor come, lining up motor. Is it going to solve the problem?
He said a second voice. The man said, border closure cannot do. That man sounds like someone who's owing someone and he needs to make up. He said, all this thing you are doing, it will not take us anywhere. Please. The interstate drivers also said the curfew and the absence of police officers on the road had dampened the confidence of most travelers.
If you watch out from Airport Junction now up till Owerri, there is no security agencies there. So people have been afraid of coming out to board vehicles. Between evening at work closer, you see people now coming out. And before you pass all these road up to enter towards the border, it is already 8 o'clock. So it is affecting us seriously. Everybody is traveling with fear. The driver is driving with fear, no policeman.
The hold up is too much and we don't meet up in time. And like yesterday, we slept on the road. So we are not finding it too easy. Some of the passengers are stranded in the road. Some don't go to their business. They are panicking.
At least with the security agencies on the road, you can be rest assured, at least from here to here, policemen or security men are there.
So, the drivers, it's affecting our business. What other business could a nighttime curfew have affected? Well, don't worry, I have the answer. Some managers of clubs in Port Harcourt called for a review of the curfew, saying the night curfew had taken a toll on their business. That means for a while, nobody will do rime. One of them told our correspondent the clubs in the city were yet to recover from COVID-19 pandemic. And here is a curfew looking to take them even further down the poverty line.
Considering what happened last year and a lot of business was shut down, we suffered a lot, and now we're talking about another kind of partial lock. The curfew is actually disturbing. Despite the fact that we also understand about the security of the state, we also can find another way so it can make us that we are just recovering from the business. Because naturally, we all know that Rivers State as a whole, the nightlife business, the entertainment business, we're all trying to see how we can improve in all sectors. That's why we feel when government makes this kind of decision, they also have to consider the people in this entertainment industry.
I like how well spoken he is. We know these challenges, we know, but the nightlife, you see, the nightlife is an important life. We are trying our best to ensure that we all help in the business of security, but the nightlife, help us to help you. Someone somewhere has to enjoy the nightlife. Another club manager, Promise Famine, said clubs in Port Harcourt now record losses. So sad.
Sometimes imagine a whole big place like this is making 3,000 naira in a day, and they are burning fuel, they're rolling diesel and all these things, and they have workers to pay, and it's really, really affecting. The entertainment industry is also affecting. It's affecting nightlife. You want to go to someone's show by 2 o'clock and come back by 5 o'clock. Everybody is losing money. I would like the government to review this curfew. They should try implement a door-to-door watch party. If the street is having a door-to-door watch, only the police cannot fight this. We can fight it together.
We can. We don't have to lose money. We can fight this. We truly can. Anyways, I have lots of sounds as to how this affects you, me, the next man. But I'm going to take your thoughts now. There are many, many more things to talk about. But hey, the business part is the first agenda. How did this curfew affect that for you? And the general question, do not forget, is up on Facebook. Did the curfew improve security in River State? For 2 months around a particular time, there was restriction of movement. And this was because there were attacks on police formations in different local government areas. Did it improve security? How did it affect you? And now that it's gone, are you okay with it? 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0007. And WhatsApp and Telegram 080-903-06-416. A funny comment just came in on WhatsApp, and I must take that now because it's funny. He says, Sam, it affected your business very well. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. This one I can confirm because my suya guy around that time had to close earlier. And I can imagine the emotional, oh my goodness. Anyways, let's not go there. I'll be speaking with Chris shortly, but on Facebook. Good morning, Sam. I can't really tell if the curfew increased security in the States, but I'm aware that it increased traffic and price of transportation to places like Eche, which her roads are bad. Okay, thank you very much. Chris from Rumo Biakani. Good morning, Chris.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
Yes, actually, it has reduced insecurity because don't forget the insecurity was targeted to these security agencies.
Yeah.
It wasn't mainly for us, so to say. So, and they find it wise that the only way they can tackle it was to have that coffee. So I think for them it was okay. But for us, it was a nightmare. I mean, we struggle to, like me, I'm a transporter, and sometimes you go to work, before you come back, you're already late, and you're struggling to see how you get home. So it hasn't been easy.
Okay.
But it's okay because at least we are alive.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Now, I mean, the issue of insecurity affects all of us, even though it might seem like it's targeted at the police. The police is somebody's husband, somebody's wife. You know, they are related to someone who may not be a police officer. So whether or not you like it, it affects us. Diego is calling from Transamadi. Good morning, Diego.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So, the curfew, as for business for me, it didn't really affect me because my business is to be business. I deal with other businesses and work during the day.
Diego, can you turn off your radio, please?
A number of friends. Sorry?
Turn off your radio, please.
Hello?
I said turn off your radio.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I know a number of people that their business was affected. A lot of my friends.
Okay.
You know, but mostly the way it affected us. You know, the after work time, you know, after 5 p.m., you know, the hanging out. It was quite an issue because you have to be rushing home and all that.
Yeah.
But people actually adapted to that. I went to police and by 4 o'clock, it was as if it was midnight. The way people were dressed and they were grooving, like seriously, by 4 p.m.
Okay.
So it was scary, but then the security situation, it really improved the security situation. Because a couple of weeks before that time, it was terrible. People couldn't go out. You know, people got trailed to their houses. I got trailed a couple of times myself.
Okay.
No, but since the curfew, I think security has improved quite a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Diego. So Diego says security definitely improved. Now, there were calls for the governor to lift the curfew way before 2 months. Lots of people were saying, oh, governor, please, it's not easy. We can't take it anymore. We'll be touching on that shortly, but I have comments on Facebook. Remember, the question is, did the curfew improve security in Rivers State? Michael Eden says, the curfew helps to improve security, but OSPAC in Rumaholu was using the curfew to extort money and belongings from residents who, by result of traffic, returned home after 8:30 p.m. Thank God the curfew is lifted. Justice Stevens says, Sam, you know Obibo has been on curfew since October last year, before the statewide curfew. Now my question is, Obibo's curfew also lifted, or the statewide curfew? Well, what we have is a curfew that was placed on April and not the Obibo one. Back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Sam.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is David West, coming from Yenego.
Go ahead.
You remember early Los Angeles, the city that never goes to sleep. And you know how much money, how much revenue Los Angeles generates from per night. So Port Harcourt at some point in time was like early.
Really?
Curfew, honestly speaking, affected the economies of the night. And you know as it is, these are the SMEs that stimulate the economy of River State. So the curfew was not just too good. And as a matter of fact, I do not think it has reduced or curtailed insecurity. While the curfew was still in place, we still hear of premises of security issues. So curfew affects the business of these people.
All right.
And increase the rate of poverty.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Call back if you can. Now let's go over to enforcement. People said that they were extorted by vigilante. Some even said at the beginning that police officers that they're trying to protect, they're the ones doing this. I remember the first day of the curfew, a couple of people complained that they didn't have time. The police just packed us. Anyways, let's go to that report. Residents of River State along the Ishaya-Yenogwa Road, close to the border with Bayelsa, were arrested after they defaulted the land border curfew. One of those arrested told our correspondent that he was detained all night.
They arrest me, say anybody reach 8 o'clock, enter cell. And some people through 8 o'clock and their business, they said, how they want to stop us for that kind 8 o'clock. They arrest me around 8 o'clock as they inside cell around 10 o'clock in the morning after they release me. And they pay me with 15,000. Which reason, without I no thief, I no do anything, I no boss person yet, I no follow everybody who call it just like that. Then pick me say late hour. I better make the governor think himself. We pass COVID-19 period, both flogging, both beating, they put people for inside court. This kind of surveillance, we don't need that.
Now, this was from the very first night of the curfew. I remember this. And police officers, well, swung to action. Through the next 2 months, we had different reports of different kinds of extortion, which, well, was not surprising. But again, we were hoping that maybe just once the story would be different. Other residents said the government did not give ample time before imposing the curfew at the borders.
People wait from far place before they go reach the house. 8 don't knock, but you put at like 9 o'clock. Before you go, even if you go far place before 9, you don't reach your house. Myself, they hold me for inside in my ear. Myself, they talk to them. They don't agree leave me. After that 8, some more to the pass. Keke will remain there.
For that side, man, they say when you hold up, go well for that side. This center could just be quiet. But they say that side, some people might call it dangerous.
And most of them don't know. Say coffee. Don't start. And the reason they wicked us, people say we will answer, make everybody know. Or 1 week time, we will see they will answer 1 week time before they will start the coffee. So that everybody will their far place will know how we take work carry their house.
All right. So that's the second agenda. We started with how it affected business, and then we got to the enforcement. After the break, you and I talk some more. Did the curfew improve security in River State? Don't go anywhere.
Morning Crossfire. tuned in to 92.3 Nigeria Info. The Morning Crossfire.
And as we have severally stated, the curfew is not going to last a day beyond necessary. Consequently, subsequent to the measurable improvements in the security situation in the state, as well as in our neighboring states, we have decided to lift the existing curfew on the entire state from tomorrow, 7th July 2021. While we thank you for your understanding and cooperation during this trying period, we must all remain security conscious and report any suspicious situation to the security agencies for action.
This is the Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Yes, indeed, it is the Morning Crossfire, the words and voice of the governor of River State, Governor Wike, stating that the 2-month-old statewide curfew has been lifted. And I'm asking questions around the curfew. Did the curfew improve the security in River State? And how exactly did it affect you? A 4-point agenda was started with how it affects businesses. You heard from drivers, you heard from club owners. I'm sure there are many other people that you did not hear from. I remember in the city I used to live in before I came here, there was a lady in a particular part of town that only sold rice from evening. You know, she had a table and some other things. And from, say, 7, 8 p.m., that's when she comes out. Now, that woman, if she lived in Port Harcourt, would have been affected. And there are many other businesses we may or may not know that were affected. The next, enforcement. We had enforcement officers doing what they should not have done. That affected people. I'd like to hear from you. 0817-923-0002. Onyeche Makele says, I can't really tell if the curfew increased security. Okay, I think I'm taking that. And Nduka Uria, the curfew created more problems than the governor thought. Collecting of phones here and there, robbing people with guns. Once it's 8:45. The guy had a different experience. Mustafa Al-Khali says this is a good development. We hope the unknown gunmen will disappear finally. I have Bright calling from One. Good morning, Bright.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Yeah, for the curfew lifted today, I was so happy that the governor have lifted the curfew. For whether the curfew he fruit or not, yes, he improved security in River State.
Okay.
Because since the session of this curfew, the killing and the abduction reduced based on what was happening then. For business people, yes, it affected business. But when it comes for life matters. Well, not because of we are doing night business. The place is not conducive for us to do business. We were coming out to do business. So I remember everybody, we paid the price. Now the cost have been lifted up. Let us thank the governor and support and be careful. And where we go and where we don't go. So the coffee hits fruit. We are kudos for him. He have lifted up. Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you, Bright.
bless you.
Zubi calls from Polu. I lost that call. Zubi, call back if you can. Still taking your thoughts over to Facebook. Gifts and Diffreke says everything is still the way it was before. And Comrade Desmond Njika, indeed, our amiable governor has tried to stop the little insurgency that has fallen upon River State. Long live the governor. Isaiah Ovie might take the curfew did not improve security, but increased poverty and affected businesses drastically. Jeff is calling from Oyibo. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Mama. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Go ahead.
First and foremost, I want to correct one impression. People are asking if Oyibo included. Sometimes, I don't know whether people listen to the news. He said the Air State, he did not exonerate the place, not because people have been on coffee pot since October. People are now thinking. They think that the coffee will never be lifted. Come on. The governor had made an announcement yesterday, and virtually all the stations in River State are carrying it over and over. Why should somebody be absent? Is we will still involved? Please. This thing has been lifted, so that is it. Nothing come down or send his men to come down to River Street and see what the soldiers are doing. The people are making hell of money.
Okay. Thank you very much. I lost a call from Temple. Daniel from Transamadi, talk to me.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
For me, I'm happy that finally the governor has lifted the curfew in River State. How did it affect me? Mostly it's traffic. Sometimes you need to rush home because you know that the time that you don't even have to be at home, you have to be at home because of the traffic. And secondly, the activities of the police, knowing that they may not have any excuse why you should be outside 8:30. A little experience from a neighbor who got arrested at a Nimbu police station, so that I called him. Got his bill at by 15,000. That is not really how it's supposed to be. But like I said, it's like taking a food away from Nigerian police. That is number one. Number two, freedom to do your work in office and go back home whenever you want to go back home. It did improve security. In terms of the police system, yes, the killing of police stopped. But did it improve security internally? I don't think so. There are still all these bad boys going around doing their thing. And the police themselves have been able to even arrest some individuals to show that those small crimes didn't stop. And we're going to improve on it. We can prove, when we understand that the system of policing is that when people is involved, not to catch people, for people to bear themselves out. That is not how police is being done. Police is for we, and we should be afraid of the police. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. I have Ima from NTA. Good morning, Ima.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Go ahead.
Yes. Whether the curfew affected the businesses or not, my own perception is that is it not good for we to put a permanent stop to this insecurity within the state by using this method that other reasonable.
Hello?
Because like the issue of Lloyd in America, it was the technology set up that recorded everything, how the man was killed. Then can't we have that here instead of using this manual approach or analog approach, which is not working? Because what I'm saying is that God forbid the attack again, then there will be curfew again. Why not set up this technology to record every person or activities that people go on? And every person will be afraid. I will keep away.
All right.
Is that not better?
Yes, a sustainable solution is always better. And speaking about sustainability, Cyprian Ejobo, I hope I pronounced that well, on Facebook says the curfew helped those whose husbands stay out late to do dorime after work instead of going home to their families. So these ladies are not happy that it has been lifted. Well, yes, I was going to talk about that. Wives that were deprived of the presence of their husbands were elated. Their husband had to come home before 10 when it was 10 p.m., 8:30. It was reviewed a couple of times. Now that it's been lifted, well, a sustainable solution is what you will need, because you cannot expect a statewide curfew to help save your marriage. So maybe, just maybe, an understanding, a conversation, a dialogue would help improve the system. Dixon from Ibueche. Good morning, Dixon. All right, call back if you can. Going back to Facebook. Places like Eche, that her roads are bad, the curfew really increased transportation and traffic in the states at large. It was something else. And Comrade Desmond in Jika, ungrateful human being, you're not appreciating good thing. I'm not sure if that's connected to this. Joe Lewis, yes it did, because it increased the presence of security personnel and even included the armed forces, so people with criminal intentions would not dare carry out their plans. Godwin from Transamadi. Good morning, Godwin.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah, I'm saying my experience in the coffee.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, I think this rumor bar police station. I was just coming from Samadi. Just 8:26. And they saw me when I was driving down, they began to block the road. Seriously. And I get there, I begged them that I want to drop people, that I want to go back to house. The man said I should give him my car key, the policeman. I said, okay, no, look at time. And where I'm going is not too far from here. He said, no, I should bring my car key. And the person that they hold before, they are saying that the person should bring 7,000 naira. So I began to beg, no way. So I now run away. He said, if I run, he will shoot me. You know, I begin to beg the policeman. He said, no, if I run, so I run away, come the gun. So I told him that don't shoot me, don't shoot me. So I wanted to enter my car. Before I could get there, I used to go and just press, and the car, you know, locked. So I went to left my car and my car tire. So I now went back home, got all two mobile men, and they came there to help. He said, I have committed offense. Why do I wrong in the first place? I said, because you said I should bring my car key. So the experience in that coffee, some people, like some of us, we experience a lot.
Yeah, personal experience not good. I hope you made a report. I heard of places where the police tried to delay people. It wasn't 8:30 yet, but maybe a few minutes to 8. So they did everything to ensure that, you know, they delayed you till 8:30 so they could do what needed to be done. And that also was not good. Jude from Rumokoro, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, it's Chooks.
Yes, I know that. Go ahead.
Okay, my brother, I am very happy when I had the governor make a statement about relaxing the curfew yesterday. Yeah, answering your question whether it helped the
improve security.
Reduce security. Yes, I did, because during that time of killing these police officers, you find out that those attacks were carried out during odd hours. We hear it happen about 11, 12, 1, 2 a.m. So that putting that curfew, so it checkmated movement and control the influx of the cars into the state. Then the other side of it is business. It really affected people's business drastically, especially most of us who run to Aba to buy our businesses and come down to Port Harcourt and say, my brother, it was very difficult for us, most especially around that Obibo side. To tell you this, during that answer, since last year, Obibo has still been on lockdown up to this moment. So when you're coming from Aba, if by mistake you didn't cross that Obibo by 7 o'clock, my brother, if you see flogging, they'll flog you and beat you, match you, and even allow you to stay there with them.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I apologize.
Honestly speaking, it was not that simple. One of my friends is still nursing his pains now. They flogged him as if he was a slave. If I'm on WhatsApp now, I would have dropped his picture on the WhatsApp. So what I'm asking is, the governor said he has relaxed the curfew in all the local governments. What about Obibo? Those army people, are they still disturbing people by 7 o'clock, or can people still walk freely now around Obibo? I was supposed to go to market today before yesterday, but because of their issue I stayed back. So let me see how the curfew works today before I announce it. So that's my question, whether the governor will talk to them to relax their own curfew and let people run and do their businesses freely.
All right. Well, Jude, the report we have, and of course the voice of the governor, talks about lifting the 2-month-old curfew. That's the one that started in April. There was a mention of the Obibo situation. But I need attention I think rather, there has to be attention given to what the soldiers are doing, because a lot of people have complained about human rights abuses by those soldiers. They all can be wrong. Oh, well, they must be very good liars if they are. Another part of the curfew was with the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. A couple of persons said, well, the IPOB leader has been arrested, since security forces believe that these attacks were carried out by IPOB. Is this not a good time to lift the curfew? A businesswoman in Port Harcourt called for the review of the curfew. She told our correspondent that it affected her life in the city dropped sales for many businesses. She says the arrest of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu should lead to a review of the curfew at a later time and no longer 8:30 p.m.
I would like to appeal to the government if they can check and extend the time, because before now it's been affecting us negatively since we run small businesses. Before it gets to the time where people are coming from work, you have little or no time to attend to customers, so we close earlier, and it's really affecting our sales and general turnover. Given the current security situation, it's a bit safe and fairly okay, plus the fact that Nnamdi Kanu has been arraigned.
So there you have it. But before that, the governor had said his administration will not yield to pressure to relax the night curfew. Not a day before. It will be lifted when it needs to be lifted.
We will continue to take the war on criminality and insecurity to the den of the criminals and will neither yield nor lower the tempo of our assault until they are comprehensively neutralized. As a matter of fact, they want us to prematurely terminate the statewide night time curfew in order for them to have the leeway to operate again and roll back the gains of the last few weeks. But we shall not give in to any such pressure, as the security of lives and property is more important for us to safeguard at all costs than the business or social interests of anyone else or group. Let me therefore assure you that the existing curfew will not last one day beyond necessary, and plead with all of us to endure the temporary inconveniences in the interest of the state and our collective well-being.
All right, there you have it. So now it's been lifted. Henry from Rumibo. Good morning, Henry.
Yes, sir, good morning.
Thanks for staying on the phone. Go ahead.
Yes, please, I want to make an appeal, please, to your studio. Please, let us be having some time to contribute so that our little credit can be able to assist us, because I've been waiting for 5 minutes and some seconds now. Now, on the coffee, the experience, my dear brother, I must tell you that I didn't fall the victim because I was very conscious enough. Because I've come to understand that when you come in contact with any of our Nigerian policemen, while you're begging them is when they feel that they have the power to intimidate you more. So I was very conscious enough to avoid them. But what I experienced within the this coffee period is that the OSPAC, what I would like call it OSPAC or vigilante, the ones at this room hollow here, my dear brother, if you see what they are doing to people, using machetes, flogging people anyhow. The one that happened the last time, that was last week in my street where I live, my dear brother, I wept. These two young men were coming back. I don't know where they are coming back. Maybe because of the traffic and all the rest of it, they did be able to get to their home on time. These guys apprehend them, try to drag them into Keke, and these guys were begging them. Sam, if you see what this guy flogged these two men with machetes, you now ask yourself, where are we going from here? Is it a part of the security, this thing they are keeping, using machete and flogging people anyhow, intimidating people? If they hold you, they will tell you to bring 25,000. They are now become the police of the street. So I think the experience is not really a good one, and I think the government can also bring in a policy. It is not only coffee. I don't know if coffee has become the strategy of our security network. Because in other countries, I don't see where they use coffee to tackle insecurity. But in this our own device, we have become using coffee to tackle insecurity because of the failure of our security system. So I think the government needs to do more.
All right.
Because we cannot continue to be experiencing these humiliations and all the rest, and then one day you come up and call it off. The people that are for the victim are for the victim. I think it's not a good experience.
Thank you very much, Henry. That's as much as I can take. There are certain situations where a curfew would be required, irrespective of what part of the world. The question, of course, to experts would be, is this one of such situations? Well, we're glad that this is where we are. I'm also advocating that we obey the law to the letter. It's extremely important. Coming up at 10 is Hello Port Harcourt with Jude. You do not want to miss that, of course. I'll see you tomorrow. Connect with us at Nigeria Info PH on all platforms, and with me at Sparkling Oracle on all platforms. Have a wonderful day.